We got a lot to talk about. What's good, YouTube? Week 7 just wrapped up in the NFL season. Basketball is back today, and I am excited. First, let's get the college games I watched out the way. South Carolina whoops up on Oklahoma. The game was 21-0, I swear, before the first kick. The freshman quarterback for Oklahoma, I think he was, I can't remember his name. He had a fumble, and he had a pick six, and I think he threw another interception. And then they benched him back for Arnold. And that game was never close. I did want to see a little bit more out of the South Carolina offense, but a lot wasn't necessary, so I'll take it. Indiana whoops up on Nebraska. I did not expect Nebraska to get 50 balled, I'll be honest. That caught me really off guard. Curtis Rourke looks like he just entered the Heisman conversation. Now, I don't expect him to win it, but he balled out against a good Nebraska team. They're not a bunch of scrubs. Nebraska will have Ohio State this weekend. Hopefully they make it more competitive. I don't expect them to after this game. What else? Miami and Louisville put on a classic at the same time as the South Carolina game. I decided to watch South Carolina instead of that game for whatever reason. But Miami has been in a lot of close games over the past couple weeks. You know, they had the game against Cal, and then now the game against Louisville. In Louisville, you had it. You had it in your hands. I don't know exactly what happened. Like I said, I didn't get to watch this game, but it looked like Cam Ward balled out and he had the game-winning drive or something like that. I had to rewatch it. Tennessee knocks off Alabama. Tennessee's defense has been outstanding throughout the year. The offense isn't as explosive as it has been throughout the first couple weeks and over the past couple seasons. And if it was, this Tennessee team would probably be number 1 in the country. But hey, they get the W against the rival Alabama, and Alabama falls to like 15 in the rankings. So it's a good day to be a college football fan if you don't like Alabama. Next, Texas and Georgia. Now, Georgia was dominant throughout the entire first half, pitching a shutout. But I really want to talk about is the third quarter. Texas had just scored, I'm pretty sure. Or no, they hadn't scored just yet, one of them. And there was a pass interference call on a pick six. Or no, it wasn't a pick, but on a pick. And call was bad, to say that. But Texas fans started throwing water bottles out on the field and all that. And Steve Sarkisian is trying to get all the crowd calmed down because if you don't know, that's unsportsmanlike on the coach, and that's 15 yards for Texas every time. Surprisingly, though, with all that commotion, they overruled the penalty, and that was a little weird. Never seen that before, and apparently you can't do that. But especially not after you already announced the call. But they picked up the flag, and it was Texas ball. And while watching that game, I thought it was going to be a huge momentum shift, and the game was going to be completely turned on its head. That didn't turn out to be true. Texas still ended up losing. They did score after that possession, though, but they still couldn't get anything going. Shout out Alabama's defense. Kirby Smart was phenomenal throughout this game with the play calls. And they did a lot of like stunts and just blitz packages that really confused the O-line. But other than that, good game for Georgia. Texas, I think they fell to like number 5, and Georgia jumped up to number 3. Let me double check. But I know my Ducks are number 1. You know, we beat up on Purdue like I expected. I expected it to be a little bit slower of a game, but shutout is a shutout. I'll take it. What other games did I watch from week 8 of college football? BYU beat Oklahoma State in a close one. Clemson beats up on Virginia. The Auburn-Missouri game. Auburn controlled this game for the entirety of it until the fourth quarter. And I didn't watch this game either, but I went back and I saw that the Missouri quarterback got injured early on. And apparently he went to the hospital, got an IV and an MRI, and it was negative, and he came back, finished the game, and won. Incredible. Missouri, I think, has Alabama next, so that's going to be a big game for Alabama if they even want a chance at the playoff. Notre Dame beats up on Georgia Tech. Illinois wins against Michigan. Shout out their helmets. The jerseys didn't do them justice, Illinois speaking, but Michigan has a quarterback problem, an offensive problem really, because they cannot pass the ball. And you can stop the run against Michigan, you can beat Michigan. They finally fall to being unranked, thank God. Navy beats up on Charlotte. Texas A&M beats Mississippi State by 10. I did not expect that game to be close. LSU beats up on Arkansas, unfortunately. It just looks like Arkansas's offense just couldn't get going for real. And I don't see many turnovers either. I'll go back and watch that game if I get the chance. Yeah, it just looked like Arkansas couldn't get a stop, and LSU. Arkansas had a couple turnovers throughout the game, but yeah, and missed field goals. Yeah, it just looks like they couldn't get a stop, and these turnovers killed them. Iowa State beats UCF in a close one. I really thought Iowa State was going to drop this game throughout it because it just looked like they couldn't get a stop, but they clutch it up at the end, get the game-winning field goal. Kansas State beats West Virginia. SMU beats Stanford. I think that's about all I really cared about. Baylor, surprisingly almost 60 balls Texas Tech. I had Texas Tech winning that game, actually. Kansas beats Houston comfortably. Cal drops to NC State. And yeah, nothing else really of interest. Let's move on to week 7 of the NFL. I'll start with the games yesterday. First things first, when we talk about the Ravens-Buccaneers game. Get well soon. Chris Godwin, he snapped his ankle in like a play and on a drive where he shouldn't have even been in. I really don't know what Tampa Bay was playing for. They were down 2 scores at the end of the game, like a minute to go, and that's when Godwin snapped his ankle. He got carted off in an air cast. Hopefully he's all right, but he looks like he's going to be done for the season. Mike Evans also had re-aggravated his hamstring injury in the first or second quarter of this game. He was out for the rest of it, so really don't know what he's going to be like going for in the season. But turnovers. Baker had 2 awful picks, and he was throwing a lot of turnover-worthy balls throughout this game, and that really killed them. Killed the offense. Like, they scored the first 10 points of this game, and then after that, it was like really ugly. But Baltimore. Actually, I'll keep talking about it. Tampa Bay did a really good job of stopping the run, but that was about it throughout the first 2.5 quarters. And then after that, it was like Derrick Henry had run after run. He had 3 large runs, and this game's pretty much over. First half though, Lamar dazzled. I'm pretty sure he had like 3 touchdowns in the first half, if I'm not mistaken. No, he had 2. But he had 5. He ended the game with 5. Rashad Bateman had 2 big catches, one 50-yarder for a touchdown. Mark Andrews had a 2-touchdown game. And I think Justice Hill caught one as well. Basically, the Ravens offense just couldn't be stopped all night, even with the Zay Flowers injury. I really don't know what his injury was, because he looked like he did something to his ankle in the first half, but he played throughout the second half looking like a decoy, so I really don't know. But he looked fine. And then the other Monday night game, I expected this game to be ugly. Cardinals beat the Chargers 17-15. Chargers just couldn't punch it in, and they got a great game from Justin Herbert, but a lot of drops early first quarter. Jalen Reagor dropped the a 40-yard bomb, and it went into the end zone, causing a touchback, and that led to, pretty sure the Cardinals got points off of that. But they got a 300, almost 400-yard passing game from Herbert, and all they could do was get field goals, and it was just a bunch of drops and just missed execution. They couldn't run the ball on one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, and that's concerning. The interior O-line definitely still needs help. But other than that, it was just like, this is a game the Chargers should have won. The defense only played really good as well. Like, they only had 3 bad possessions. And those are the 3 possessions that ended up causing points. You know, they got the long touchdown where the guy took a bad angle on Kyler and he got juked out, or the long touchdown run. And then early on in the drive, Kyler found, who was it? I think it was Dortch or Marco Wilson on the goal line, and that's when they scored. And then of course the game-winning field goal drive where they let up the long catch by Connor. Connor had his way throughout the entire game with the Chargers too. It just felt like, but they got the stops necessary. Other than that, I don't really got much to say other than this team is still in year 1 of the new era, so I don't expect a lot of wins, but this is the game they should have won. Cardinals, the defense played really good. They didn't let up any touchdowns. That's not really common for them. And in their division, it's kind of wide open because it feels like every team is bad and every team is beatable. Next week, they have the Dolphins, so that should be a win. That's a winnable game. The Dolphins have not looked good whatsoever. And then the Chargers, they have the Saints, another team that's just panicking. So we'll see what they got. But yeah, the NFC West is wide open. So the Cardinals could win this division, surprisingly, with all the injuries to the 49ers and the Rams just trying to stay afloat while they rehab some injuries as well. Let's go to the Sunday games. What game? I'll talk about the Texans-Packers game. The Packers defense was outstanding to this game. Stroud could never get comfortable. O-line, like the blitzes, they were even sending for it, and they were getting all kinds of pressure on the Texans. And it led to Stroud only having 86 passing yards, and then the Diggs was also shut down. Mixon had a good game on the ground, so that really what kept them in this. But other than that, Jordan Love got them down the field to win the game on a field goal. And that's all you can ask for. Jordan Love also had a really good game. He did have those 2 interceptions, but yeah, and one of them interceptions did lead to was it a fumble? I think it was an interception or a fumble where it did lead to a Texans Joe Mixon touchdown. But other than that, he played solid. You know, completed most of his passes, 220 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. Josh Jacobs got his first career receiving touchdown as well, so shout out to him. Next game, Seahawks blew out the Falcons. Turnovers killed them as well. Kirk had two or three bad interceptions. And also, they just didn't get Drake London involved as much as you would want him to in the first half. Bijan was killing throughout most of the game, but it just wasn't enough. They only put up 14 points on the board. Eagles dominate the Giants in Saquon's revenge game. You could definitely tell Saquon wanted this game. He had almost 200 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. A.J. Brown caught one. Offense definitely looked better. I still have some concerns for them, but that's with the coaching. But other than that, fine. The Colts beat the Dolphins. Anthony Richardson's first game back. He missed on a lot of easy throws, but he was under pressure as well. But he definitely missed on a lot of throws, completed under 50% of his passes. I'm not concerned about him just yet, but he's definitely a long way away from being what his potential says he could be. But they got the win in this game. And he did lead the touchdown drive that gave them the lead, so digress. What else? Jaguars beat the Patriots in London. Rebuild year for the Patriots, so I'm not really worried about it. Bengals had a close one with the Browns. It took I can say it was really close. They won comfortably, but the score isn't exactly what you would want it to be. Like, for the most part, up until the end of the third, it looks like it was like a one possession game, so I guess. But other than that, Bengals win. Chiefs beat up on the 49ers. Brock Purdy threw 3 interceptions and just looked like their offense couldn't get anything going. Ayuk tore his ACL in this game, so rest up to him. It looked like Debo was sick had an illness throughout the game too, and then the next day he was put into the hospital. He was hospitalized for pneumonia. It sounded like I think Kittle got an injury as well. So next game, Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall I think are going to start, barring anything else, barring any updates. So, like I said, that division is wide open. I think they have the Seahawks again, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. No, they have the Cowboys on Sunday night. So I expect a heavy dose of the run because it doesn't look like their playmakers on the outside are really going to be healthy. Bills beat up on the Titans. They did start slow in this game, but they got it together. Amari Cooper is going to be a huge acquire. I can't think of the word, but he's going to be a huge acquisition for them going forward. He caught his first touchdown. Keon Coleman had his breakout game with the two long receptions. So yeah, I'm happy that they moved him down to 2. That way he can really learn behind Cooper, and then now they have that solid number 1 guy that can be reliable for Allen. Allen still hasn't thrown a pick throughout this season. Stop sleeping on my boy. If Lamar didn't have the game he had last week and the week before that, he'd be MVP. Stop sleeping. Commanders beat up on the Panthers. Jane Daniels went down early in this game. I think they just didn't want to put him back out there to risk it. They said he should be fine on this rib injury, but so no concern. 40-7 in that game anyway. The Raiders drop another game to the Rams. Gardner Minshew threw that pick 6, and that killed everything for us, but we only lost by 5, so hooray. And Aiden O'Connell broke his thumb, so that led to Minshew being in the game in the first place. And then the classic of the day. Lions beat the Vikings by 2 on a game-winning field goal. This game had everything you wanted. First things first, Brian Branch, amazing football player. Amazing. He had that one athletic pick. He almost had the fumble recovery, but he stepped out of Vikings receiver stepped out of bounds before he punched it loose. But he was all over the field today, and he really had his impact felt. Lions are definitely going to need pass rush, I will say, but that was kind of obvious. So hopefully they make a move to acquire a pass rusher with Aiden Hutchinson going down for the season. Jared Goff played phenomenal in this game. Only had 3 incompletions. This was really the Jahmyr Gibbs show, though. He had 2 touchdowns, the 1 long reception, and then he punched one inside the 10 or 12, I'm pretty sure. Had almost 200, 170, I should say. 170, 160 yards from scrimmage. Wow. And David Montgomery went down early in this game, but he ended up coming back. So that's what led to a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs touches. But other than that, really good show. Monra had 8 receptions as well. I'm surprised that Jameson Williams wasn't involved as much, and he's not going to be involved for the next 2 games because I'm pretty sure he just got suspended for using PEDs or PESs, something like that. So he's going to be out for the next 2 games. Another suspension so early in his career is kind of disheartening, but he'll come back. He'll be all right. Darnold played good as well. He did have that 1 pick, like I said, to Branch, but he was really good. This was just a really good game on both sides. Aaron Jones got into the end zone. Justin Jefferson got into the end zone on a 1-on-1 play. So Just a really good game. Really good coaching from both sides as well. I can't really fault either of the defenses because, like they said, just a really good offensive game. But Lions get the win. And then the final game of the night, Steelers beat the Jets. Now, what's interesting about this game is the Jets offense still, one, looked bad, but two, Russell Wilson didn't look too bad. You know, he didn't look too bad in this game. At first he did start off a little shaky. He missed a couple throws. He really missed a bubble. He just completely missed it. So it looked like Fields might come in, but he really got it together. And you could really see that his experience was valuable, and plus his accuracy. Pickens was dominating his one-on-ones with number 26 on the Jets. So, and then I think he even won a target with Gardner as well. On Gardner as well, and I think Gardner got shaken up. I don't know if he came back because at that point, game was getting out of hand. But turnovers really killed the Jets in this game. Rodgers had both picks to beating Bishop, but the first one was just a good play by Bishop. And then the second one was just Garrett Wilson dropping a easy ball in the breadbasket, and then Bishop picking it off. And that was basically the nail in the coffin after that, because they couldn't get anything going. And that's about it. And then the Thursday game, I think I already talked about that. Yeah, Thursday game, we already talked about that. Now, tonight, this is what I'm really excited for. We have basketball. We have basketball for the rest of the week. Knicks play the Celtics in their ring ceremony. We're going to see really our first real action other than preseason of the Karl Anthony Towns acquisition for the Knicks. And hopefully Mikal Bridges' jump shot isn't broke as it was throughout the preseason. I'm pretty sure he went at a whopping 2 for 19 throughout the entire preseason on 3. And just seeing his new form can definitely tell us the reason. So hopefully he gets that figured out. Celtics is basically the same team as the championship run. Then we have Lakers, Wolves. Really, I think this is a home game for the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the main thing about this is so we can see Bronny and LeBron on the floor at the same time in the first game of the season. But I expect 2 things. I expect Anthony Davis and Anthony Edwards to be dominant in this game because, like they said, like JJ said, he wants AD to be an offensive hub in a way, so have the offense run through him a good amount. And then Anthony Edwards, I think he's out for blood this season after disappointing in the conference finals. So he's a dark horse MVP. I can't say he's dark horse, but I think he's going to be in every MVP conversation all year. And then Dante DiVincenzo, I expect him to have a big, like another revenge tour for him, with him being traded. I'm circling on the schedule both games they have with the Knicks, especially the one in the Garden. The first one's going to be at the Target Center. I think that's the Minnesota Arena. So, but I'm really looking forward to this season. And I was going to give my Eastern Conference predictions, but I think after tonight, I'll record all my thoughts on every team for the NBA season and then get that uploaded. But other than that, basketball is back. NFL Week 8, I will have my mid-season breakdown of all the teams I care about. Well, I ain't gonna say care about all 32 NFL teams. So why not? I got time for the NFL, and then all 30 teams for the NBA. Early season, preseason, I guess you could still say. And then some college football games, I'll have that out before the end of the week. Man, I just yapped for a whole 20 minutes, almost 30 minutes. Proud of myself. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'm out.